So I saw this question on Reddit. It says, I can't achieve this effect, as a paragraph description and a link to a YouTube video, which was done by the creator PolyMatter's The Strange Broken Economics of Ireland. It's an interesting video and has some cool graphs at the beginning, which are in like a 3D space. I'll put the link to that video in the description too. It's not my work, it's someone else's, but this person wanted to know how they did this or how you could recreate this. So I'm hopefully showing a similar way to that person. Here's what I came up with. It's not perfect. I quickly threw this together just to kind of figure out what they did to achieve this effect and how I could do it. I started in After Effects with a 3D camera, but it seemed to overcomplicate this, where you can just do this with a large layer. It's just an extremely large layer that I'm moving around in the active camera that's built into After Effects. So if we go in here, you can see what I did is I just put these graphs all over this 6,000 by 4,000 layer, and then for each graph I made a pre-composition. So right now I just duplicated the same one 3 times. And just in case, talked about 3D, there is a drop shadow on that graph line. That's just a built-in effect in After Effects to give that some depth, make it kind of jump off of the screen a little bit. And then we just animated the graph line going across inside this pre-comp. And then out here you can see we have an adjustment layer here that I just put on the vignette. You notice that in the video. And then we have our large layer, and we're just using Z rotation and position to achieve that look. We use the position to jump from one graph to the next while that Z rotation is moving, and it looked like in the example was just going back and forth. It just picked some arbitrary numbers and went back and forth between them. And then there's a slide down to go to the next graph. And the only reason I believe the original was using one large layer is because of the background with like crosshatch. If you didn't want to or have a computer capable of using such a large image, you could just use a solid color in the background and then move those pre-comps around just using a null object even to control them in front of the active camera in After Effects, and you could get a very similar look. And that may save on render times. And then here we'll switch to the side view, and you can see I actually did, almost forgot to tell you, I did add a X rotation, negative 27 degrees in this case. So that gives that angled back away from you look as well. But that's it. That should be a pretty easy, quick tutorial on how this was achieved.